Minty again. You know I have to do the video. I'm sorry. You can sit here. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Ross from Retro Dream Beam. I'm an eBay seller full time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into where we're shipping out today on Wednesday. It was a ton of stuff, so I'm just going to jump right into it. This is like abnormal for Wednesday. The past few months for sales on our eBay has just been like all over the place. This is super good. And then also I keep talking about where it feels like my eBay will have like an off switch, like not in our control. And then yesterday out of nowhere, it like clicked, it felt like it clicked on. There was like offer, message, purchase, offer. Literally there was this like 4 hour time frame where it was just like a bombardment of action on eBay. And then it goes silent again out of nowhere for like 8 or 10 hours with maybe like one offer in between. It's super weird. The algorithm is just crazy. I don't really try to figure it out, but I feel like it's worth mentioning to people because we do this full time. So that's how it feels for us. All right. I'm not going to complain about today. First up is going to be these Monster Apocalypse Grunt units. This is a Cliff Hopper and some kind of ant. I actually don't know what faction this is. It says it's from Savage Swarm. So this is a collectible game by Privateer Press. They would have these pre-painted miniatures. You would have a big kaiju. You would play on a gridded map. There's also buildings. We saw the buildings before, and then each big monster gets a bunch of small support units. And then there's like red, blue, and yellow, like attack and power dice. You're just trying to defeat the other person's monster. There was a couple of sets as this game was progressing. At some point, they canceled it. I was into it a little bit for the first few sets, like the base set. Then there was like I think like a New York Chomp set or something like that. So I don't know what set these are from. So these sold for $7. So I did list them a little bit higher. The smaller units don't sell for as much as the bigger ones. In general, like to make a big lot of the specific factions because that's how people play the game. All right, next up is going to be this kind of like another home good. Been selling some of our old home goods that we used to like sell. I mean, they're all listed still, all the old stuff. So this is some kind of specific art cat. It's a pretty good like hard ceramic or metal, not metal. I don't know. It's like a pretty good material, well painted with the gray and blue. I put down this was Eldreth Gray Cats. I'm not sure if that was the brand. Maybe there was a brand on the bottom, but yeah, this sold for $28. So it's a pretty cool little home decor cat statue. We don't sell as much home decor anymore. That was more 2020, 2021 when people were indoors and focusing on like making everything around their house better because that's where they were hanging out. All right. Next up is going to be this. So this was the mistake that I made. Malta Under Siege. I sent the person the wrong cover sheet or the C3I magazine insert. This is also an insert. I refunded the person and then I relisted this item. I apologized to them a couple times. I felt really dumb for it. So like I was expecting a negative feedback because they totally could have done that, you know. It did have to go international, so I don't think there was a way to like reprint an international label and just ship this. So they end up going like, "Oh, I still want it," and then they bought it. They're like, "Thank you," and I'm like, "No, thank you. I'm the one that messed up." So $12.79 for that, but that's not like a, you know, they already paid, refunded, then they just paid again for that. So I got super lucky with that, and honestly, just being honest with people sometimes, like I was very humble in my messages, like, "Hey, I really messed up. I'm super sorry," because like we literally don't want that to happen. That's not on purpose. We're not a scammer, but we're aware that a lot of people think other sellers are scammers. There's a lot of sellers who think all these buyers are scammers. So I'm aware of the, what's the word? Not culture, but just like, yeah, I guess like the culture of reselling for buyers and sellers and how they mentally think about stuff. So got lucky there. All right. Next up is going to be more of these C3I magazine inserts. Someone wanted all of the ones with Combat Commander, some kind of like board game that has a lot of base games and some expansions. I think I sold some Combat Commander tokens a few weeks ago. I think that was the first time I got that kind of stuff. So C3I Magazine, kind of like that, everything has a bunch of these inserts. So there's a bunch of just campaign sheets. Here, right here is some scenarios. Like you can, it tells you like what units you play, what map you're going to use, and like the rules on how each side wins. So just a ton of these inserts. They were across 4 different listings. They end up paying $48 for this combo order. All right, next up is going to be a HeroClix. This is a super rare. HeroClix is going to be a game by WizKids, still popular to this day. Like people are still playing it. Booster packs are pretty expensive. You buy a booster pack with 5 figures. You play on a gridded map as well. Each character is worth a certain number of points, and you usually tell your opponents or like beforehand, before you guys meet up at comic shops, so you usually be like, we're going to play 500 points, and you have to maybe have this keyword or make it Halloween themed and stuff. And there are official tournaments, but a lot of people kind of just want to play special specific rules, or at least when I was going to comic shops like over 10 years ago to play HeroClix when I did, it would be cool little events like that. So really fun game, a lot of different ways to play it. There's a bunch of collectible figures. Super rare, there's gonna be a set symbol that shows like what booster pack set this comes from, and the color is like a golden bronze, shows that super rare. Doesn't mean that it's worth money, but that means it could be worth more because it's rare. So this is Starfire right here. This one ended up going for $12 just for a specific super rare. That's actually pretty good for like an older. This one I think is Teen Titans. I want to say that was probably 2014 when that set came out. So that's been a while ago. All right, next up is going to be this right here. I still have the auction label that I spent right here. $10 on this slot right here. It was a bunch of tanks. So these are well painted. I don't really want to, because I like packed them up with a little styrofoam that I cut out so they didn't get damaged. But these are well done metal painted World War II USA tanks. So normally I find like German tanks and Axis tanks and stuff. This was rare for me to see the USA one, so I got it for $10. Sold it for $47.99. They are well done. I don't think my pictures did it justice, so the person I believe is going to be super happy when they get them. They are higher quality. I bid on it because I saw like the paint job, and I just saw that the quality of that miniature compared to like plastic ones was a higher echelon. All right, next up is going to be Mech Warrior right over here. Oh, my cat's over there, and our Ottoman, she's looking at me as I'm showing you guys items, so I have another viewer, I guess. You have to like and subscribe over there, Mindy. All right. All right, I'm losing it, guys. I woke up super late today. This is going to be Mech Warrior WizKids. This is also a game that they used to do before the Marvel and DC was the one that people were paying their money, so they stopped the Mech Warrior. People still like these. They still look pretty cool. I don't like mech stuff, but I always like the Mech Warrior, just the little mechs and then the little tanks and then the infantry. So this is a squad. This is going to be the Dragon's Fury. Also, same thing. They're all worth points. You pick your army. This one, I do believe you have to have it within your same faction, and there will be a little symbol on the base for that faction. That's why I make the lots of the commons and uncommons the same faction. So $20 for this, the Dragon's Fury faction right there. Never actually played the Mech Warrior stuff, but I owned some of it as a kid. I would just like, I'd be seeing the HeroClix packs and then the Mage Knight, I would buy those packs, and you only have so much money as a kid from like allowance and chores. So I had to pick and choose, and then occasionally I would get a Mech Warrior pack. All right. Moving along, we have 40 HeroClix. So these are going to be uncommons and rares. So I did it by sets. So this set was not of my time. So Masters of Time right here. So there's going to be 20 figures. They're cards which show the stats and the rules for all the figures. Like I said, I believe these are uncommon and rare lots. So I was asking a little bit more for them. Actually, did I say that? Sorry, these were just DC. Sorry, this was not a specific set. I just put DC characters. So there's like, I see a bunch of Supermans, Robot Cyborg Superman, some Gotham, like police officers. What else is there? There's like Green Arrow, a couple other characters. Batman, there's a Batman in there. So these are more modern ones. You can tell because the base will have an Oreo base because it looks like an Oreo, or older ones did not have that. It's so they can twist the bottom easier. All right, and then this is 20 Masters of Time. That I believe is a newer set. I think it's a DC set. So yeah, that's essentially 40 uncommons and rares, and then end up going for $39.98. It was super weird because like earlier in the week, I was just like, I haven't sold HeroClix in a while. Maybe that was a mistake to get a bunch at different auctions, and then they just started selling. I'm like, okay, whatever, never mind. I'll take it. All right, next up, it does sell slower, but you have to know a little bit about it, I think, to sell it. Or also people use the miniatures for like RPG stand-ins. Although I used to see people use them, yeah, for RPG stand-ins. Spend a bunch of money on some heavy, or not heavy, like some expensive D&D miniatures, or just get like some characters with some swords and stuff, and just you bringing them out and you have fun with your friends when you're on a budget. All right, next up is this, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Gato 1943 submarine. So this is going to be a kit, a model kit. We used to sell a bunch of these kits. Haven't gotten any in a while, so this one ended up going for $35. It's like new open box. So yeah, usually like submarines and helicopters, I usually price that stuff more because they're more common than like they're more rare than like car model kits and stuff that are all over the place. All right, next one. I know a lot of information about this one, more than I should, but this is an example of having knowledge of random video games and stuff can help out. I only sold this card for $2.50. This is just a rare card for the World of Warcraft TCG game. This the name of the card is More Dots, and then this is also a Warlock. So this is actually a pun to a specific YouTube video back in the day where there was this Onyxia raid, which is like a big dragon, a bunch of people. You have to get 40 people to fight her back in the day. And there was this guy who was just screaming at he was the guild leader, he's a warlock. He was just telling everyone to put more dots. Dots in the game are damage over time abilities, which would be like, imagine like a creature, the dragon on a fire, or maybe some kind of curse or some affliction like that. So this is like, the person probably picked this up because this is iconic to that particular YouTube channel. You just have to know that that's where this like name came from, the more dots. So it's just a regular rare in this particular set. I think it's the Outland set. Like I said, oh no, 275. We had a little haggle battle, so we ended up on 275. I thought it was 250. That was like the original price. So sorry, I know that was a lot about that, but I have a lot of random information about a lot of this stuff. You never know what's going to become useful. All right, next up right here is a lot of 6 of these Pirates of the, is it not Caribbean? Pirates collectible shipbuilding game. I forget, I'm sorry, I'm like drawing a blank on the official name. This was a game by WizKids. It used to be like these cards. You would buy these booster packs, and then you would pop out the little cardboard, or like it's like a plastic cardboard, and then you make your ships, and there's a full-fledged game to play. You would like fight on little islands and stuff, so it's a miniatures game, but starts with cards. These are crew members and like little tokens and stuff. I never played the game. I just saw it around all the time. I really messed up a chance to get a full box of this stuff, like a massive collection, and Annetta still makes fun of me because I didn't bid enough. I think it was just this big box that basically had the person put that I had everything for this game, including promos. I bid up to 180, and then I dropped. I was like, oh, that's too much money for me technically not knowing the game. And then there was someone there that had a bid where if they weren't there, they would put in a bid price. I forget the name. I'm forgetting a lot of names and stuff. They basically put in like a pre-bid. Their pre-bid was $200, so I was $21 short of getting a massive collection. Every time I sell pirate stuff, like this collectible shipbuilding game, I always remember how I messed it up. That was only $5 just for those 6 cards. So I definitely, like I said, that big tub was a bunch of stuff. All right, second to last thing for the day is going to be this Game Science D20. Actually, this is a D10, so it goes through 0 through 9 twice, and then Game Science is a 1980 dice company. Got lucky to get a bunch of these dice. Had a hard time identifying some of them. Not all of the ones were Game Science. Some of them are like Dungeons and Dragons ones. So it's really hard to like identify specific dice. I was trying like different subreddits and stuff to have people help me. This one I just happened to know is Game Science because I got a bunch of them. It has these numbers where you either crayon in the color of the contrast you want like the number to be, or you would ink them. There'd be some kind of ink process. So like if you wanted yellow and blue, because that's like a good color combination, or if you wanted yellow and green, you can then make the numbers green. So yeah, this one ended up going to a repeat buyer for $40. Pretty expensive dice. And they're kind of controversial. People are like, oh, these dice are worthless. And other people are like, no, those are worth something. So I remember I got people into a tizzy on a subreddit. I wasn't even trying to. I was just like, hey guys, what are these dice? All right, next up is going to, last thing, we got a Mercari sale, and I wish this feature was on eBay. It like actually bothers me because they're not a cross list to Mercari and Bonanza, but on Mercari, the customer can send a combined, like they can add everything they want and send it to you as an offer. I just really wish eBay would have that. It just like drives me nuts that eBay doesn't have that. Like, I don't think like both buyers and sellers would want that. Like the buyers who don't want to deal with all the messages of combining stuff, and the sellers obviously want to see everything. Look at an offer. Hey, I want these 6 things for like $100, and then it's like really easy to just figure out rather than messages. So Mercari, someone sent a combined offer for these 3 Warhammer things. This is going to be I got these from the person that sells me anime stuff. They also sell Warhammer stuff occasionally. So finally got some sealed stuff. Gorg Gruntes right here for the Iron Claw Orcs. Is it Iron Jaws Orcs, and Tusk Boss figure right here. These are all sealed kits. This is like they pull out the sprues and they build the miniatures. Warhammer is super expensive and super popular still to this day. And then Iron Jaws right here. This is going to be Age of Sigmar. It's one of their like kind of like updated fantasy game, even though they brought back Old World, which is like the retro vintage Warhammer fantasy. So there's a lot of different ways to play Warhammer, different ways to collect it. So this is a start collecting. This is like a full on, I don't know why it just says, it says it's start collecting. There's a War Chanter, 10 Ard Boys, and 3 Gorguntus. Okay, so this is just basically like a mini squad / army, or a good amount of points for the game. I don't think it's enough to play the game. Those 3 boxes they sent an offer for $250. I think our asking price was probably like 300 or something, so we took it. But I really want that feature on eBay. I'm hoping one day, but I don't know if enough people complain about it or send in support tickets or complaints somewhere to get that going. It would be really helpful, at least for us, specifically for our strategy too. All right, that's everything. We're running short on time to pack this up. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's having a good week so far.